As the old saying goes, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time, today. And that's an old proverb that really every homebuyer in the GTA, or even someone even thinking of entering the housing market, really needs to know. And to be more nuanced, in 2024, that saying would say, the best time to buy was the middle of September. The second best time, now. So, moving onwards, beautiful people, it's Andrew the Realtor, and I am giving you the November 2024 housing market update a little later into the month of November. I'll tell you one of the reasons shortly, because inflation is a part of that. So what we're going to cover for this month is, I always say it's important. It really is important. One important aspect is the market is picking up significantly. And I mentioned the best time to buy being the middle of September. Since that time, we've been meeting year over year. We've been beating numbers by 30 to 40% in terms of sales volume. And while we have still a very large inventory, something that buyers really need to take notice of, things are moving. So that's the first thing, very important to note, things are moving. So sellers, take note. I have some very important stuff for you towards the latter end of this video. So buyers' inventory is still huge. So when I tell you that you've missed, so to speak, the golden magic window of for the home buyers, you have not missed entirely on the boat. So don't get discouraged by any stretch. In fact, if anything, the point of this particular market update, and we're going to get into December, obviously next month, is for you to actually get encouraged and really maybe nudge you into getting into the market. One reason is inventory is still huge, so stop hesitating. I'll give an easy personal example. Just recently, in the past week, I've sold 2 different properties, and both of those sellers are now buyers. And so I started looking through the inventory for homes for them to buy, and I was pleasantly surprised. I know the inventory. We're at 23,000, give or take, right now. We've been as high as over 26,000, so take note how much that has dropped. And that is going to keep dropping, by the way, buyers, because we have the holidays coming up, and a lot of thousands of listings are going to come off the market if they don't sell, because people don't want to have them on the market during the holidays. So back to my example. So both of those buyer parties, when I started looking, both had over 100 different properties as potential places to buy. So I had to whittle that down to, 15, 20, 30 or something, because clearly that's too high a number. But the point being, inventory is still huge. There are a lot of options. Don't fool yourself. Unless you're a multimillionaire, I've got some clients like that, and looking for a very specific kind of property. If you're a more normal person there are amazing homes out there right now. And equally important, those sellers are motivated. And they want to sell. So buyers, inventory is huge. Take note of that. Sellers, don't do anything until you know all of the numbers. I am seeing a lot of the sellers out there, even with a high inventory, you would think sellers would be a little more prone to, really make sure the numbers are correct, make sure the pricing is correct. Lots of mistakes being made right now. So guys, take a note. I'm going to move forward, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going to happen in the market, again, with the intent of getting buyers. Seriously, listen to me. You got to get in the game. So as always, the point of these videos and all these videos is to provide valuable information, absolutely free. The QR code on the left side there is for my website. You can look on there. There's some information on there. All my contact information is always at the bottom of the video. Listen, I provide valuable information because I'm actually in the market every single day, not only looking from the seller side, but also the buyer side. I purposely work with both just to have kind of my fingers dipped in all those both of those very important pies. And you don't get this information elsewhere because people talk about it. The people that are, think tanks and things, they're not actually in the market like someone who's a realtor for over a decade now is. So guys, hit like and subscribe if you can, please. So one of the first things we need to know is, we initially were thinking quite likely that if the inflation is going to keep coming down, and went down to 1.6 in September, of this year 2024, we thought, listen, it's inevitable we're going to have another huge rate cut. However, the numbers came in just a few days ago for October. You can see the little blue circle there. Inflation went up a little bit to 2%. Now, keep in mind, 2% is the target. So this isn't like horrible news. It's actually the target. So we're on target. However, because it went up and not down, what a lot of banks are saying right now, we don't know yet, the Bank of Canada may very well not have that huge cut of 0.5 that everyone was thinking up to this point, but maybe down to a quarter. Still, everyone's saying it's going to be a cut, and it's quite likely that it'll be a cut in January as well. So my point of mentioning this is specifically, that's slowed down a little bit. Maybe that'll keep the big number of buyers coming into the market. So again, buyers, you still have less competition than you will certainly in the spring. And I'll give you some other stuff right here. Watch this number. Buyers, watch this number. these numbers. So these are the announcements next year for Bank of Canada announcements. And of course, we have December 11th coming up, probably a cut and a quarter. And assuming there's a quarter cut, not a half, right now that seems to be the more probable, there's might be another cut in January. So if you're right now getting pre-approved and entering the market right now, as you should, give me a call. You should really get into the market. What you're going to be looking at is probably two rate cuts before you even take possession of the property, meaning that whatever your interest rate is right now, and it's already significantly lower than it would have been even a year ago, it's going to be even lower. So all the better, get pre-approved now and you just get a lower rate when you close. So these are the actual announcements, and here's the forecast. This is really, really interesting. Here's the forecast of actual banks, and this is back in September. So take note, this is from September. It's the latest graph I could find. So I mentioned September. Since September, we had a 0.5 cut. So listen to this. Before the inflation really fell down, before the interest rate was really cut, back in September, this is what banks are saying. This is back then. So these numbers are all going to be slightly even lower for 2025. So this projection right now in December, they're thinking CIBC CIBC is thinking 3.5%. We're at 3.75 right now. So at that time, some of them are saying that the rate might not go down. It definitely is going to go down. The point of this saying is, look at the numbers. Look at 2025. Almost everyone's in the 2% now. So 2 to 3% is the forecast by the big five banks. Never mind other lenders. And we're at 3.75 right now. Now, home buyers, think. What do you think is going to happen to the market significantly? Last month, I had my son come into the video and ask that very same question. I'm going to ask that question now, not as well as he did, but nonetheless, what do you think is going to happen with the market now? So we've got inflation coming down still. The trajectory is downward, and we're already on target 2 months in a row. Now, we've got interest rates coming down significantly, and inventory is still high. Like, that inventory is only going to go down. Those prices are only going to start going up. The competition is only going to increase. So I'm literally just trying to get people to understand that if you're thinking of buying, if you're thinking of moving up, that's another segment of the population that's really, really can do well right now. You really should take notice of this. Like, this is not happening. This doesn't happen very often. So anyway, moving forward, here's what's happening in the actual market. I'll move myself into the middle here. Forgive me. So October, last month, is the numbers I have. Sales were up significantly. Now, admittedly, grain of salt, October of 2023 was not the busiest month. That second half of 2023 up until December was kind of slow. You can check my updates from the fall and the early winter of 2023. That's what I was saying then. And that was my prediction. Things are really slow, but they're going to be picking up. Now, the difference now, of course, is the rates are significantly lower. Inventory is enormous right now. So homes sold was up significantly. Price up a little bit. So again, even though we've had huge inventory, even though the last few months were kind of stagnant and buyers really should have been getting into the market and really should get into it still, the price is still maintaining on average. Now, give or take, some condos, buildings, and condo areas down a little bit. Some detached areas with detached homes, freehold, detached and semi-detached, those were up a little bit. So it depends on the area as well. However, on average, look at the prices. We're actually up 1%. The point being, they didn't even go down with all that happening. So forget any ideas of bubble bursting and everything, as I say every month for the past half year. Forget all those things. Now, active listings in October were over 24,000, 24,500. Before, we've been as high as over 26,000, record highs month after month this year. And days on market, notice how long it still is. So you've got, in October was 43. It's going to be lower now, but well over a month average days on market for a property and very high inventory. And the sales are still up. So guys, buyers, your magic window's gone, and your window of opportunity is slowly dwindling down, because it's going to get busier and busier as the end of the fall and the winter happens, and as we get into the spring market of 2025. It's only going to get busier. So it's not getting better after this. It's going to get worse. You really need to start taking advantage of the market now, because again, it's astounding how many options there are out there. Again, right now we're about just over 23,000. In October we're 24.5. Notice the difference already, and that's only been a month. As a month over month on the right, just from September to October, of course, inventory went down a little bit, but that's very normal. So overall, the numbers are very normal in terms of month over month. But again, October was a busy month. In generally speaking, it was good, which is telling me that the market is getting more and more healthy, more and more active. So that buyer advantage is becoming less and less and less and less. This is going to be a theme here, guys. I'm really trying to nail this down. Sellers, don't get discouraged. I have some really good information for you. So let me move myself here. the Finance of Canada. Of course, these are a couple of other things that I mentioned last month. You can learn here, we're increasing the one from 1 million to 1.5 in terms of insured mortgages, eligibility for 30-year mortgages. And that's down there as an example. You can pause, and I did this last month as well. So the point of this is, I'm giving you all the themes, all the patterns for buyers to get into the mode of, listen, I need to get into the market. I need to get in the market as soon as possible before things start to get really, really busy. Because all of these things are going to increase the busy market. They're going to increase competition for buyers. And for sellers, it's going to increase opportunity for you guys as well. So here's the summary. Trying to keep this fairly brief. Buyers, interest cuts are coming. You already know this. Let me minimize myself a little bit here, so I'm not taking up too much space. Interest rates are coming. Sellers are motivated. I can vouch for that. And inventory is huge right now. Still huge. In comparison, it's huge. Just over 23,000 active listings. So freehold options are already seeing occasional bidding wars. So you're already seeing bidding wars. Condos are still moving slower because there's a high inventory of them. And interestingly, what bugs me is that condos are in that price range where people should be buying. We talk about affordable housing and such all the time. The cheapest properties are the ones that should be moving, and they're, depending on the building, depending on the area, they're not always moving, which must be very frustrating for the sellers. And frankly, I think buyers are missing out on a great opportunity there. But nonetheless, listen, all these things are happening. So you notice the question at the end of the first line. With the rates coming, sellers motivated, inventory is huge. What are you anticipating? I still get people telling me, I'm going to wait till spring and everything else. Listen, if that's what life says, if that's what your life situation and everything says, financing maybe, fine. But if you're just holding off because you think it's going to be something better, listen, you got to look at the inventory. Holy cow. So again, things are happening. There are multiple offer situations. Probably about a third of the time they actually get an offer. So that's changed. That's changed significantly in the past couple of months. First-time buyers and move-up buyers especially. Move-up buyers, you have to start taking advantage of these things. Think about that. So wherever you're going, those things, especially the higher prices, if you're going from like $1 million to $1.5 million and $2 million, those properties have not moved as well in the past few months. So you can really start taking advantage. You can really get the move-up house, the larger home for a significant deal, frankly. And with sellers that are flexible, you might even be put in a condition that allows you to first sell your house and then take possession of that one. So anyway, if you need information, give me a call. I'll discuss how you kind of structure that kind of thing. So the last part there, those are all wonderful and great, but only if you act. I find getting people to act is the biggest thing, because right now the holidays are coming up, and those are a great excuse to put off making a major decision. Whereas in reality, what you're actually doing is you're putting this decision now, which would be a really good one, into the next year's market, which is going to be significantly busier and a lot harder for a lot of you buyers. So again, really the theme here is buyers, you have to get into the market. You don't believe me? You know, you have some other ideas, maybe give me a shout. I mean, even hit in the comment section. I've been getting a few of those once in a while. So sellers, I'm going to mention a few points to you guys. First of all, pay attention. Pricing and presentation is very important. I'm astounded that when the inventory is this high, the sellers still allow their listing agents to make their house not look fantastic, or at least as presentable as can be. And I know some of these places are vacant and they don't look great. There's no excuse for that. There's zero excuse for that. Zero excuse for not having professional photos and video done. Absolutely. It's insane. And so pricing is also really, really big. You have to be realistic. You have to see what things have been selling for. I have 2, 3, 4 different ways of pricing a property, different angles that I take to price one specific property. Some properties are difficult, like luxury, maybe some specific niche kind of markets. But generally speaking, you have to get the pricing right. And I'm still seeing people hit the market way too overpriced, and that creates a stigma. You're on the market for a long time. People wonder what's wrong with the house. They start not looking at it, and you have a harder and harder time getting the price that you actually wanted. You need to know what the numbers are. Okay, so listen, if you're from the market, call me, let me know. I'm happy to help. And you have to know your numbers. You have to know the numbers where you're buying, where you're selling. If you sell for a lower price now, you chalk it up to a slower market than you would like, but you still buy better. You can make it up on the buy. That's really, really important. Don't get so hung up on your price if you're in fact buying elsewhere and the numbers still make sense. You have to know your numbers, and I discuss this every month. A couple of really important points. I mentioned before, this is not a time for discount lazy results. It is not. I see it regularly, the horrible photos. I can tell it's a cell phone because I can see the angles they took. They're really awful. Lazy. I sold 2 properties, recent cases. I'm jumping around a little bit, forgive me. The listing agent must be very active in marketing. In marketing and follow-up. The follow-up is absolutely huge. And It takes extra time. You have to follow up with everybody that's shown the property, everyone that's shown interest in the property, all those online leads that come in that people are interested in a property. You have to be following up. Your agent needs to be on the phone on a regular basis, touching base with those people who have shown interest or have actually shown the property. Two recent cases sold for 98% of asking price. Now, that's impressive. That's actually very good for any kind of market. But because over asking is because you listed it low. I didn't list it low. I listed at market price. Both cases, both of those are in the mid 1 millions mark, so not the easiest market. And here's something I want to tell you guys. So many other properties are still sitting right now that are in that area. They're on the market before we were. I didn't do anything magical, but what I did do is make sure the homes are presented very, very well. Make sure the marketing is very, very good to both those actively looking and those who are not actively looking but would be interested. If not, I can tell you how I do that specifically. And the other thing is you have to present well, and you have to follow up with every single person and talk to them. Every buyer's agent has to call their agents again. I follow up with people all the time, and it's one of the reasons that sometimes you're able to sell in the market that others are still sitting on the market. So that point being, listen. So summary: buyers, get in the market. You contact me, call me, and argue with me if you want. That's fine. I'm more than happy to explain the information again, not to argue specifically, but I want you guys to make a smart choice. Sellers, very similar fashion, have to know your numbers. Make the smart choice when you pick a listing agent. And I know that's self-serving. Yes, yes, I'd like to throw my hat in the ring. The point being, you can't be lazy. In a market with high inventory, in the kind of market that it is, with some buyers that are sharks and other buyers who are kind of hesitant, you have to know how to talk to both of those people. You have to know how to get both those people to the table with an offer, and then sell your house for a very good price like I did with my other clients. So guys, November 2024, very interesting month. I'll see you guys in December. Any questions? All my information is at the bottom. Andrew the Realtor, thank you again for your time.